something nice with that.
Another worker out sick, and right after one of my best died in his sleep. You look strong. Interested in making some coin in the quarry, stranger? Constable Ulbrin's daughter? Look, if this is about that conversation I had with Yabrin's father, I must have been mistaken. I don't know anything about the illness, other than I've lost more quarriers lately than I can replace. Briefly, I thought I noticed something, but I was wrong. Besides, he died before we could talk more. Look, the illness is bad, but my remaining quarriers are more than making up for the workers we lost. Beyond that, I have nothing more to say. Listen, I'm just the crew boss. I hire quarriers and keep them busy. If you have questions beyond that, you need to talk to Lady Raxley. She owns the quarry and knows a lot more about...
Despite rumors to the contrary, Carvane Ranch only hires qualified applicants. Seasoned ranch hands only. We have no time or inclination to train novices. And we especially have no need of rowdies. Perhaps you should inquire at the quarry, hmm? Ah, I see. I had an appointment to speak to her late father. Unfortunately, he succumbed to that terrible malady before that occurred. I'll tell you what I plan to tell him. No crime plagues the town of Ontis, just a lamentable disease. Isn't that the nature of lawkeepers? To see a crime behind every event, guilt is the source of every motivation? Baron Carvane ordered me to cooperate, as long as it didn't interfere with the business of the ranch. You really are new. The Baron owns Carvane Ranch, which feeds most of Westweald. This Fatigue fever, as it has come to be known, is a burden on business, but you can't toss a disease in the dungeon. If there is nothing else...
Welcome to the Stone Ship Tavern and Gambling Den, stranger. Looking for work in Ontis? Or did you come to our fine establishment because you heard we host the best games of chance this side of the Strid? So you're Yabrin's new deputy? Good. She could use the help. I'm not sure I could come back and dive into work after losing someone as close as Yabrin was to her father. What can I tell you, deputy? Constable Albrin was a good man. Kept the peace here. Made sure the workers, both native townsfolk and recent arrivals, got along. We talked all the time. As I said, we were friends. He'd sometimes inquire if there was any chatter in the stone chip he needed to worry about. But the only news I can think of is that a lot of our regulars from the quarry haven't been in a while. Not much to tell. We're a small town full of hard-working people. Most everyone is employed by the Carvane Ranch or the Raxley Quarry. Baron Carvane and Lady Raxley have always had sort of a friendly rivalry, but lately it seems less cordial. The ranch makes a substantial profit providing food for the town and the region. While the quarry has had some success, since the war for the throne heated up, it's begun to challenge the Baron's status and put a strain on their relationship. It's the illness affecting the workers. Took Constable Albrin, too. We saw the first signs of it a few months back. It started innocently. He was?
Deputy, were you able to interview the townsfolk I suggested? I wonder what my father hoped to get out of talking to them. I know this is all tied to fatigue fever. I just don't know how. What about the constable's office? Did you find anything important there? My father's notebook? It describes how productivity increased lately at both the quarry and the ranch. Interesting. And he mentions how the town healer died suddenly, before she could share her findings. 2 suspicious deaths that break the pattern. That 2 healthy people, not connected to the ranch or quarry, were suddenly inflicted with fatigue fever and died faster than any other victims. My father planned to talk to Baron Carvane and Lady Raxley next. Do that, while I investigate the healer. Let's rally at the Stone Chip Tavern when you're done, Deputy.
The Carvane Ranch does not sell to individual buyers. This is not a general store. Might I suggest the market's in Skingrad? Or perhaps you can purchase a meal at the Stone Chip Tavern. Glad to hear that young Yabrin has gotten right to work. Her father would be proud. But I am uncertain as to what I can tell you that would help advance her investigation. What exactly is she investigating, by the way? I didn't realize that sickness and illness were now the purview of the town constable. I can tell you what I know. A strange disease has befallen workers at my ranch and at Raxley's quarry. Unfortunate, but there's no crime that I can see. Is it? No matter. None of this is a concern to me, and I have no idea how to help you. I have enough to do just to keep the ranch running in these difficult times. So if there is nothing else, I'll bid you good day and good luck with your inquiries.
If you're looking for work, Yabrin's back? I assumed she was fighting in Cyrodiil, or guarding the Count's precious bear. If this is about Olbrin's suspicions, I'll tell you what I told the healer. My quarriers enjoy the rewards that come with hard work. Illness is not an issue. Did it? I don't recall any standing appointments. The constable always treated me with the respect I deserve. He never found it inconceivable that Emperor Leovic personally granted an Argonian an imperial title. Not like Baron Carvane. My business is none of your concern. We struggled in the past, and were almost forced to sell to Carvane, but we turned things around. All it took was a war, a demand for stone, and for our quarry.
Deputy, over here. Deputy, I have a message for you from Constable Yabrin. The constable said she found something at the healers that pointed to a possible source of fatigue fever. She asked me to let you know, and that you should meet up with her. She wants you to help her search Carvane Manor and Lady Raxley's tower. That I couldn't say. She wasn't exactly eager to share the details of her investigation in the middle of a town gambling den. But between you and me, if Carvane and Raxley aren't guilty of this, they sure as Tusk are guilty of something. Carvane Manor's south of town, on the Carvane Ranch. Watch yourself there. The ranch hands don't take kindly to
issue. Next. Make sure you don't eat a special. Better luck next time. You asked for it. Building up a stash. Good thinking.
Ah, there you are. We should investigate Zegger's blind next.
You weren't keeping score, were you? Me neither.
Good. You found it. Place used to be crawling with goblins. Let's see what's in here now.
You've got to watch those enchantments of yours more closely. You weren't keeping score, were you? Me neither.
My father. There's a key sitting on that desk.
Blink! Now!
Take it, and see if it unlocks any of the drawers. Not for that desk? Then let's find the lock that key opens.
Sated and ready to take on the world, huh?
Over there. Try the key in that desk. They're after us. And Graku. I'll go warn him. You destroy this alchemical equipment. Go around!
I won't let you destroy my life's work.
I have a few goods to trade, but nothing like...
Repairs. I like it.
Is it bad that I'd rather...
Tangled blankets as you fall in bed. Hot grease drips into the blazing fire. Grapes dangle as mouths open with desire. Blue velvet and golden trim about. So many sordid delights around. But what is the cost of such wonderful things? No amount of gold can hide the rot it brings. Fangs lurk beneath brightly painted lips, as innocence falls like arrows from our ship. We dance until our tired feet bleed, gorge upon all the delicacies and need. The lovely deception will
Nothing like that
punish
freshly
the
charged
fool
feeling.
when we finally realize how much we've sold.
Why did we leave Hammerfell, Kurthan?
You know why we left, my love.
But all we found here was hard work and terrible sickness.
Hard work is the same all over, and the illness will pass.
I hope so, Kurthan. I hope so.
Damn. Mercenaries got the drop on me. Constable Yabrin. They busted in right after she arrived. Mercenaries by the looks of them. I tried to help, but I'm not the fighter I used to be. They took Yabrin. They made a point of shouting so everyone could hear. Fatigue fever is your fault, you and your crooked father.
agree to sign the confession, Yabran. My patience won't last forever.
Over here.
Give me that.
Get me out of these
Sign
bonds.
her damn name. In case you haven't noticed, we've got company.
A deputy. Mercenaries, kill them and dump the elixir into the reservoir. Come, Rexley. We need to get out of here.
Deputy, you stop the mercenaries. I'll go after Carvane and Raxley.
Let's get this over with.
I never did like Norfolk.
You'll pay for that!
That's far enough, Baron. I've got them. What happened at the reservoir, Deputy? I can't believe I allowed myself to get captured by this bunch. If my fellow legionaries hear about this... But tell me, did you stop the mercenaries from polluting the reservoir with the remaining elixir? Good. And we have enough evidence to implicate them. Not only in the deaths of Healer Navama and my father, but in the deaths of all those workers. Their alchemist created an elixir that made the workers more productive, but at a terrible cost. That's another death to lay at their feet, and all in the name of profit. They plan to destroy the town, blame it all on me, and run off with their ill-gotten gold. I'm just glad you were here to help stop them. I'll present the evidence we collected to the magistrate in Skingrad. Help determine who takes over the ranch and quarry. Ontis needs those businesses to continue, though without the danger of fatigue fever. I hope my father can rest easier now. I finished what he started, and brought the murderers to justice. I'll see them get whatever punishment. That's a good question. I haven't quite decided yet. I want to stick around long enough to
It seems Mystic has been fooled by a four-legged escape artist. Ah, careful now. A cunning and foul beast has made off with an important document and played Mystic for a fool. Perhaps you can help retrieve it? Ah, a wonderful idea from dear Aquilia. This one fears there is more afoot to Lady Weatherly's death. But our first clue is currently in the jowls of a dog. A hairy, stinky thing. Betu is the beast's name, though this one calls him Headache. Oh, yes. helping with the will is a cover. And not only was her death sudden and mysterious, but now her fortune is missing, and her long-lost son has returned. A great many threads for one's claws to get tangled in. Hmm? Yes, yes. Aquilia wishes the question of inheritance be conclusively answered before it becomes fodder for the gossips. Now, dear Aid, we must find Betu. This one has already found his tracks. Let us crouch down and follow. More tracks. The dog definitely went this way.
Get it together, Edric. You're a mess.
What's that? Music hears voices. Let us listen in.
Our dear lady is dead. And you still don't believe me. Then talk to the investigator. Don't pull me into this. Can we even trust him? I don't want to be labeled a suspect. Better to talk to an investigator than a gardener, Edric. Not a gardener. A friend. You do well to leave, Otho. And take Betu with you.
I don't know what you're playing at, but you were a fool to come here.
There's Lady Pelena and her husband Uriel, our once long-lost son.
Be angry all you want, dear wife, but don't cause a scene. I'm here to stay.
Fine. Then you can help deal with your cousin and that inane investigator. Now, where could that mangy dog have gotten off to?
There's Betu. Quick, grab the wheel while he is occupied. Quickly, grab the wheel.
Not now, Betu. Away with you!
With the wheel secured, let us speak with Edric.
Betu's always been an incorrigible sort. Best not to let him walk all over you. Apologies. I should introduce myself. My name is Edric Brusner. I was Lady Weatherly's cook. Terrible thing, her death. Beyond compare. Yes, terribly so. I've been in her employ for what feels like ages, which is why I hope you'll listen when I say you must leave the estate. I fear what happened to our dear lady could happen to you. Chefs are privy to more than just their employer's favorite dishes. Lady Weatherly hasn't been the same since her son's disappearance, and I'm not the only one to take notice. Fruit flies buzz around the sweetest fruit, after all. I can't say any more. I only came to pay my respects and to leave this place behind. If I were you, I would stay far away from that manor before that investigator digs up something horrible. If you insist on staying, that's your business. Just watch your back.
How strange. It seems the cook knows more than he is willing to let on. How very curious. Music will have to make note of this. At least this confirms that the residents of the estate are keeping their secrets close to their chests. Yes, of course. Along with the cook, there's Otho Florius, the gardener. Then, of course, Lady Weatherly's missing son himself, Uriel, back from the dead. And his wife, Helena, who has long lived at the estate with Lady Weatherly. Convenient, yes? Many questions surround Uriel's sudden return, and it should be noted that Helena seems none too pleased about it. Mizik has, of course, investigated a number of failed marriages, but this seems different. Ah, what of the will? Yeah, excellent. The seal is still intact. We should return to the manor now that we've secured the will. I am certain our roosting vultures are keen to hear what it has to say. Meet Mizik by the manor house when you are ready to meet the others.
I hope Betu's return means you retrieved the will, Mizik?
Yes, the will is returned and intact, thanks to my assistant.
Well, let's get this over with. Read it aloud, Mizik.
Yes, of course. Weatherly's walls hide a glittering secret, safely guarded by 4 loyal paws. Do not worry. Mizik and his assistant will get to the bottom of this.
I'm sorry. Is that a riddle?
This must be some sort of joke.
There he is. My faithful friend. Oh!
Strange. Betu doesn't seem too fond of you, cousin.
Nonsense. I'm sure Betu just needs time to remember me. Isn't that right, boy?
Feel free to speak with the others, but join me in the study when you are ready.
I didn't realize Mizik had an assistant. A pleasure to meet you. I hope, despite the circumstances, you will find time to enjoy the estate grounds. It's beautiful this time of year. A small blessing while we grieve. Happy doesn't do the feeling justice. Ecstatic, overjoyed, yet still burdened by Mother's passing and the horrors of battle. But being surrounded by loved ones has been a major boon.
All this waiting, and for what? A riddle. It's absurd. The sooner you and Mizik solve this riddle, the sooner our family can move on from this nonsense. To think we haven't even had a chance to celebrate Uriel's return. How embarrassing. You overheard that. Tensions have been high since his mother's passing. There are certain adjustments we've both had to make. Nothing some restful sleep can't solve.
It seems I was right to ask for your help. Despite the mysterious contents of the will, this is the most progress we've made all day. I trust you and Mizik will see things through, and we can proceed with this unpleasant business. Fairly, though I wish I had made more of an effort to visit. I spent many summers here when I was younger, but school and then my position kept me away for far too long. She was kind, generous. Her loss outweighs any treasure we might find.
I'm Otho, the gardener. Betu must like you if he followed you back. He's a good judge of character, you know. Lady Weatherly loved him dearly. I worry about what will become of him when all is said and done. Edric is making a bit of a fool of himself. It pains me to see him this way. I assure you, he's never acted like this before. Perhaps it'd be better if you asked him. He's had a rough go of it.
The estate feels hollow now, without her. And apologies for my appearance. I needed some liquid courage to walk the halls of this corpse. I hope you find who did this. She did not deserve what happened to her. Closer than most staff are with their lords and ladies, I reckon. I'd worked for her since before young Muriel had even been born. Feels like a lifetime ago. More memories to drown, I suppose.
Why would Lady Weatherly leave a riddle in her will? Perhaps you can make sense of it. Could the four paws mean Betu? They certainly are not Misik's. Perhaps we can find a clue here in her study. Huh. It seems Pelena made her feelings about the cook quite clear to It seems Lady Weatherly led her own investigation into her son's death. A note peeking out from behind the painting. Excellent eye for detail, friend. Interesting. A hidden note guarded by a painted dog. What does it say? Let Misik see the note. An anonymous letter warning Lady Weatherly of a traitor. This one wonders if they were able to meet before her death. It paints a disturbing picture of her final moments. Misik was told that Lady Weatherly died alone in her library. But could she have met with a stranger only to become their victim? We must question the family, but do not mention the note. Whether this note was sent by the killer or a kind soul close to Lady Weatherly, it confirms one thing, that there is indeed a traitor among us. And with this letter, Misik can do what he does best. Play cat and mouse.
If you are looking for the stranger who calls himself Uriel, he went to walk the estate grounds with Helena, and not a moment too soon. I was growing tired of their bickering. Of course, though I doubt I'd be of much help. I was tending to affairs in High Isle when I learned of my aunt's death. As her last living blood relative, I saw fit to see to her will, until my cousin's convenient reappearance, of course. Oh, as I understand it, she fell from her library's ladder while reaching for a book. If she had kept a modest staff on hand, perhaps she could have been saved. But by the time she was found, she had passed. I believe it was one of the estate's remaining workers. Helena would know more. She was here when it happened. Unlike Uriel. I know grief can cloud one's judgment, but is she not at all suspicious of Uriel's story? I haven't seen Uriel since we were teens, before I was sent to boarding school. And then he left to fight in Varen's revolt 6 years ago. He might share a passing resemblance, even with his scar, but I don't believe he's really Uriel. Frustratingly, no. But my aunt spent countless coins searching for Uriel. Even if his story is true, and he lost his memory, she would have found him. I fear Uriel was lost to us in the revolt. And this man is wearing our grief like a disguise. That's the thing. Since his arrival, Helena has been both overjoyed and furious. I suppose his return after so long could explain her mixed emotions. But I think she's hiding something. They share terse whispers constantly.
If Aquilia was Lady Weatherly's last living heir, could she have expected to receive the missing fortune? A motive, perhaps.
Foolish of you to think that I would just disappear.
My love, the investigator returns. We'll continue our discussion later. Apologies. Recent events have been overwhelming, to say the least. I needed some fresh air, and my dear Uriel saw fit to join me. Is there anything I can help you with? No, I was not. Lady Weatherly was kind enough to let me live on the estate when Uriel went off to fight, but I often spend my mornings walking through the woods, a ritual that has helped ever since Uriel's death. Absence, I mean. Otho Florius, the gardener, was the one who found her. He was the only one home at the time. Ever since I fired that horrible cook, Otho's been the only remaining staff member tending to the estate. Yes, I caught Edric snooping around my private quarters. Terrible thing, having one's privacy encroached upon. I told him to never return or I'd have Betu chase him out. I admit, I did enjoy striking fear into that sad little man. Well enough. He's known me since my courtship years with Uriel. He causes his fair share of mischief, but Lady Weatherly could never bring herself to get rid of him. After all, Betu was her last connection to Uriel. The dog has a penchant for stealing what isn't his. I usually ask our gardener to wrangle him, but as you can see, he hasn't done a very good job. Of course, now that Lady Weatherly has passed, we can consider alternatives.
Go on then, ask me how I returned. It's the only question anyone seems to have for me. Uriel Weatherly, back from the dead. It's laughable. 6 years ago, I left to fight in Varen's revolt. I was gravely wounded and left for dead, and would have died had a caravan of Khajiit not stumbled upon me and taken pity. The Khajiit could heal my wounds, but not my memories. They were lost. Every single one. I rode with the caravan until I was fully healed. It wasn't until we rode into Skingrad that the first slivers of my past began to return. By the time I remembered my name and where I lived, it was too late. Mother was dead. Some things, yes, but there are still heavy clouds. For instance, it's clear Mother's riddle was meant for me, but I can't make sense of it. I can only hope your talented investigative skills solve this mystery. I fear Aquilia has merely succumbed to her own grief, chasing phantasms with bloody daggers. My mother was a wonderful woman who died a simple death. It is sad, but common. You come to understand this when you've been to war. From what I've been told, my mother lived her final years grieving in isolation. My dear wife, Pelena, did her best to keep her company, but my mother had no friends or visitors, aside from the hired help, of course. All this talk of suspects when the woman simply fell. Though I suppose Thunderboots would not be here if the death weren't suspicious. Speak with the staff yourself if you see fit.
The gardener found Lady Weatherly's body. We should speak to him next.
You won't learn anything from those scheming charlatans, that's for sure. Lost memories, please. Children can weave better stories than that drivel. I'll say it again, stranger. You should leave this place. Nothing but rotten memories. No. Lady Pelena had all but run me out by then. Lady Weatherly couldn't bring herself to fire me, but I thought some time away would do us all some good. Worst decision of my life, I tell you that. It's my own fault, honestly. Something always felt off to me about Lady Pelena. She never seemed too torn up about Uriel's death. I was convinced she was hiding something, but turns out my chef's paunch doesn't make for being stealthy. She caught me going through her things. A terrible thing, I know, but I don't regret it. Some things deserve to be brought to light. You'll see.
There you go, Betu.
Apologies for Betu's earlier mischief. I hope he didn't damage the will. He's normally better behaved, but the lady's passing has certainly got him on edge. Yes, I had taken over kitchen duties while Edric was away. I was restocking the pantry after returning from the market when I heard a loud crashing noise from the library. I thought Betu might have knocked something over in the library, but when I went to check, the door was blocked by something heavy. By the time I wedged myself through, it was too late. Yes, she was lying on the floor, motionless. One of the ladders had fallen and there were books scattered all around. I can take you to see the library. Everything is as I found it. No, Lady Weatherly was the only one in the library, which is odd now that I think about it. Betu is usually plastered to the lady's side, but he wasn't in the library. He was shut up in Pelina's room. I wonder why she would have put him there. Well, Pelina keeps going on about Edric, our cook. She says he was acting suspiciously leading up to her death. But for what it's worth, I find him to be kind. He may be able to shed more light on that situation himself. You should take a look at the library. I'll meet you there.
Of course. The scene of Lady Weatherly's fall. Let us investigate the library. The library is to the left. Your other left. We must study the scene carefully. Look for anything out of place. Was that window already broken?
No. It was definitely intact before Lady Weatherly's death.
Something has broken the glass. Perhaps this was an escape route. You are certain this is where you found her body?
Yes. I'll never forget the sight of her lying there.
Quite the mess for a simple fall, don't you think? Certainly a ladder couldn't have caused this much damage to the statue. Mizik has seen enough. No blood, a broken window, and a fractured statue with no explanation as to how it was damaged. Mizik feels that there is something just out of reach of this one's claws. But what could it be? The details don't add up. Investigations always require some stretch of the imagination, but to make sense of this crime scene would be to dream up a work of fantasy. Perhaps the fantasy is the clue. Only a panicked hand could make such messy brushstrokes. Could Otho's arrival from the market have startled the suspect, leading them to block the door and escape out of the broken window? But then why create such an elaborate scene? A fall is simple enough, a tidy portrait. We should continue to investigate this broken window. Perhaps we can find a trail on the other side.
I would never hurt Lady Weatherly.
Until the investigation is complete, everyone is a suspect. The library exterior is just around the corner. Betu, Fortis is sniffing. Betu found a key. And look, it seems Betu wants us to follow him. Moons above. Is that Edric? Edric's tankard. There seems to be a suspicious residue inside. So this is the memorial Lady Weatherly built for her son. Tea. This one smells ginger, hibiscus, and something else. Something sickly. A confession, and a flowery one at that. Mizik isn't sure what to make of this. Mizik's snout wrinkles at the stench of both fresh and old death. Betu led us to the memorial of the lost Uriel Weatherly, and now we find the cook freshly poisoned. Let this one see the confession letter. Why would Edric lead us to Uriel's memorial and then kill himself? And earlier, the cook warned us of some mysterious danger. Could he have met the fate he was trying to save us from? Too many bodies and cryptic messages for this one. The note says that Edric served Lady Weatherly poisoned tea the day she died, but the cook had already left the grounds. Otho confirmed that himself. And this letter says that Pelena was present for tea, but she said she was out all morning. A good question, but the memorial may be a greater clue. Lady Weatherly had gone to great lengths to find her son, but was certain of his death to raise this memorial. Our Uriel may well be an impostor, but do not give away our upper hand. We know the real Uriel went to fight in Varen's revolt, and that Lady Weatherly spent a fortune to find his body. We also know from the note in the lady's study that Pelena was against looking into his death. Yes, our masquerading rogue. The cook was certain that he was an impostor, but what about the others? Aquilia has her suspicions, but shouldn't Pelena have known? Why hasn't she raised alarm bells and told the others? And he was the only one who could have ended the impostor's ruse. But then there is Edric's confession. Could it be a forgery to throw us off the trail? Or a convenient end to our investigation? I sense another hasty painting is before us. We should question the impostor, but we mustn't let on that we know his gambit. I also have my reservations about the once and again widowed Pelena. If anyone else was aware of his ruse, it would be her. So why hasn't she said anything? Steady yourself as we approach the impostor, Uriel. This ruse may not be his only crime. It's increasingly likely that he killed Edric to keep his secret. We know the real Uriel went to fight in Varen's revolt, and that Lady Weatherly spent a fortune to find his body. We also know from the note in the lady's study that Pelena was against looking into his death. Yes, our masquerading rogue. The cook was certain that he was an impostor, but what about the others? Aquilia has her suspicions, but shouldn't Pelena have known? Why hasn't she raised alarm bells and told the others? And he was the only one who could have ended the impostor's ruse. But then there is Edric's confession. Could it be a forgery to throw us off the trail? Or a convenient end to our investigation?
all the questions, cousin? Aren't you happy to see me?
There's our imposter. Talk to him, friend.
Our intrepid investigators. Pelena and I were just arguing over what to do with my mother's estate. Marriage squabbles. Have you made progress with that mysterious riddle? I can fetch her if you'd like. She just went into the kitchen. The cook, you say? Well, as close as any young heir is with their staff. Now that I think about it, I always did find him strange. Always one for the shadows. I'm glad Pelena saw fit to fire him. I only wish I were here to do it myself. Dead? What a ghastly turn of events! Hold on. Another memory is coming back to me. Yes. The cook always had a secret love for my mother. Was it grief that led him to kill himself? It must have been. You don't think he also killed Mother? Oh, yes, of course. No, I must have gotten ahead of myself. Yes, that's it. All this death, I thought I left it behind on the battlefield.
Thank you, Uriel. That's all. We should speak to Pelena next, traveler.
There's been another murder? The killer could come for any one of us next.
Nonsense. It's clear Edric was a troubled man who killed Lady Weatherly and took his own life.
Oh, Mizik, do you have updates on your Mizik, traveler, how fares the investigation? With so much still left to speculation, I've found myself wandering the grounds, trying to keep my hands busy. I hope to have things settled soon. Edric, a murderer? I'm astonished. I guess I was right to be suspicious of him, but now I wish I'd had him jailed when I could have. What a travesty. At least now we have some closure, and can focus on the missing fortune. Well, the lady and I had intended to meet that morning, but it slipped my mind. If the tea was poisoned, wouldn't that make Otho the suspect? With Edric away, he would have been the one to brew the tea for Lady Weatherly. I haven't the expertise, of course, to make such an accusation, but I do wonder. Otho and Edric have worked the estate for ages. Could they have felt entitled to a cut of the fortune? Useless speculation, perhaps, but the mind does wander.
Thank you, Pelena. We will investigate all lingering threads. Traveler, let's speak with the gardener next.
What?
Betu seems to have run off again. It's embarrassing, really. You'd think I'd be better at keeping a handle on him, but the dog is a free spirit. How are things? Made any progress since investigating the library? It had become one of my daily duties while Edric was away. I usually try to brew her a pot before I leave for the market. Apologies for not mentioning that earlier. My daily tasks have become innumerable. Edric is dead. I can't believe it. No, he'd never hurt Lady Weatherly. We were like a family. Wait, the recipe for the lady's tea is wrong. She's always found ginger to be too overwhelming. Are you sure Edric wrote this? He couldn't have. He'd never make a mistake like that. And he was nowhere near the tea that morning. I started a pot for Lady Weatherly, and Pelena took over brewing it before I left. Strange. She was most definitely here. She even offered to finish brewing it. I've been so busy as of late that I accepted her offer. It's not every day Pelena lends a hand around the estate. Wait. Could
Helena have poisoned Lady Weatherly? She usually has it in her bedchambers, but the room's been locked this whole time. It seems in the commotion the key has been misplaced. It's likely her room has remained untouched since this whole tragedy began.
Music recalls a gilded key revealed to us by Betu.
If you already found the missing key, you may be able to unlock Lady Weatherly's bedchambers.
If the room has truly been locked this whole time, then not even the killer could re-enter. Let us see if we can find any clues among the mess. The residue on that teacup stinks with the same foul smell as the tainted tea we found with Edric's body. This scrap of fabric seems to have been torn from an expensive dress. If this letter is true, then Pelena played a role in Uriel's death. And this signature, is this the name of our resident imposter? Mizik would like to hear your thoughts on what we found. This note seems to confirm that Pelena Weatherly had her husband killed while he was away from the estate. Did Lady Weatherly read it first and confront Pelena with the truth? And what is Pelena left to do when cornered? Indeed, Pelena may have sensed an end to her cozy life. Killing Lady Weatherly before the imposter's arrival would secure her the fortune. She couldn't have known it was hidden, and now she can't reveal the imposter without outing herself. A poisoned cup of tea would bring unwanted attention to Lady Weatherly's death. Pelena's only option would have been to stage the scene. A fall from a ladder at the lady's age? Mizik can already imagine the solemn nods of acceptance. They must have brokered an agreement. Ride out the storm of Lady Weatherly's death and come out the other side rich. But they've stumbled along the way thanks to a curious cook and a meddling Mizik. It's time we confront our killers. Mizik heard a scream from down the hall. We must hurry.
He's dead! Someone killed him!
Betu? Betu, what's wrong, boy?
Nobody leaves until Mizik finds out what happened. Traveler, there's something by the body. Quick!
We have to help him. Something has made Betu terribly ill. I've never seen him so scared. If only I knew what was wrong, I could help him. Wait. I recognize this smell. Yes, I couldn't place it until now. We used this poison around the estate grounds. We've fallen into such disrepair that beasts have moved into the cellars. Betu knows better than to eat this. He was forced. Yes, in the pantry. I kept a tin of medicinal herbs for this very occasion. I could never forgive myself if I had a hand in hurting Betu. Please, hurry.
Quickly, friend. Search the pantry. Mizik hopes we can save at least one life today.
Betu! He's recovering. The herbs must be working.
Wonderful news. Traveler, let's discuss the note you found with our imposter. Our imposter is dead, and our killer nearly succeeded in taking Betu's life as well. It is also not lost on Mizik as to who is missing from this room. The note you found with imposter Theophan's body. What does it say? The lengths the cook went to protect Lady Weatherly. This one hopes she knew how dearly she was loved by her staff. There is no doubt left in this one's mind as to who our killer is. She must be held accountable for her crimes. She can't have gone far.
Betu? What is it? Where are you going?
Quickly, follow that dog. Good boy, Betu. The killer may very well have fled through this door. These tunnels seem to run under the entire property. Good thing we have Betu's nose to...
Oh dear. Apologies. This one is fine.
Dark wolves!
Mizik needs to stop doing that.
All right.
Get away from me, you beasts!
I hear Paren's voice.
Mizik is all right. Apologies. This one is fine. Needs to stop doing that. Apologies. This one is fine.
Damn dog! How are you still alive? I've committed no wrong. That man was an imposter. If I hadn't gotten him first, then he would have killed me. I spit on Theophan Pictor's name for masquerading as my dear Uriel. How could you possibly say that? Whose inane rambling convinced you of such nonsensical drivel? Everyone is out to frame me. Theophan, Otto, even that damn this rotting estate. Everything I did, everyone I killed, I did it for my own survival. I hope it crumbles into dust just like that crone and her son. I spit on their graves.
The Count of Skingrad will decide your fate.
Helena, why would you hurt Betu?
Because this whole family can rot for all I care.
You've done great work today, Traveler. The air is heavy with death. But just like the sun, truth will come out. If only Lady Weatherly could see Pelena beaten at her own game. Pelena will be delivered to Skingrad. With the evidence in hand, she should face charges for the deaths of Uriel, Lady Weatherly, and our impostor. While it's possible Theophan killed Edric, I am certain she played a role. To think this one nearly forgot about our remaining golden thread. Aquilia is the only living relative. Mizik supposes she will inherit the fortune. Not that we found a single coin to give her. Fortune aside, what we accomplished today is no small feat. If the fortune was to be found, we'd have stumbled upon it during our investigation.
What have you got there, boy?
It seems Betu has brought us something. Betu, where did you find this? Betu? Otto, escort Pelena back to the manor. We will follow the dog.
Got to be better than that to stop us.
Being a bit... I can't believe it. This Lady Weatherly's missing fortune. Let us investigate. Lady Weatherly must have left that note before her death. We should show it to Aquilia.
Helena, is it true? After everything my aunt did for you,
I don't owe you an
Otho did his best to explain your findings. But is it really true? Helena is to blame for this nightmare? I thought she was acting strangely, but I blamed it on the grief. I would never have expected her to be capable of all this. And what of Uriel? What was his role in all this? I knew something was off about him. But to think he also played a role in killing my cousin. Lady Weatherly gave Helena a comfortable life, looked after her every need. All this death in the pursuit of an absent fortune. Betu was safeguarding the fortune this whole time? It's a strange request, leaving the remaining fortune to Betu and her staff. But I wouldn't dare go against my aunt's wishes. How sweet. Lord Betu of Weatherly.
You have got to be joking. The dog...
I can't believe it. There must be some mistake.
There's no mistake, Atho. I will help oversee the transfer of ownership. You and Betu will have all your needs seen to.
Excellent work, my friend. Let us speak. Many lives were lost, despite our best efforts. There is certainly joy to be found in our success, but this one will spend many a night wondering if there was more that could be done. Perhaps he is not as good an investigator as he thought. Do not downplay your role either. Mizik hopes news of this case strikes. Mizik will stay for a while as Yes.
I've always preferred cats. But you've made a good argument for dogs, Betu.
This one thinks Betu likes you.
Oh, well, you do seem like a very good boy. I'll be sure to order a lifetime supply of steak dinners.
Always worth stocking up. good to get stocked up.
Oh, my dear Narcissus, what has happened to you? Hello, my friend. Would you be interested in helping the great adventurer Narcissus Dren? He's busy exploring a nearby Iliad ruin, and I fear for his safety. Narcissus left some time ago to explore the ruins of Wendir. I fear he may be in trouble. He is trying to recover an ape. Find Narcissus and help him recover the emblem from Wendir. Here, let me mark it on your map. The area is swarming with wood elves of the Recollection. My dear Narcissus is brilliant, but impulsive, and needs someone to protect him from his own enthusiasm. I can tell you a little about the area.
Over so soon.
Never a dull moment.
Hush! Can't you see I'm busy blending into my surroundings? Elf Beta, of course. Yes, I could use some help. First, you must know I am the noted explorer Narcissus Dren. You know the name, of course. World-famous adventurer and author and all that. I've been exploring the Iliad ruins here at Wendir. Things were going along swimmingly when, out of nowhere, my associates, a band called the Recollection, turned on me. I barely escaped with my life. Now I need someone to recover the emblem of the last king. Yes, one of the symbols of office of King Dinar, last of the Iliad rulers. I thought the Recollection would be interested in the discovery. Apparently they were too interested and chased me out. But we're going back and will retrieve the emblem. We must search these surface ruins for two types of things. My own irreplaceable notes, and any information of the Recollection's doings. Those wood elves must have some papers about here. Mission orders, reports, or correspondence? I can't believe they're complaining about me. Me! After all I did for them. Fine. Be that way.
You good? Of course you are.
Ah, excellent. My notes on the 5 loyal retainers. No, it would do you well to study these notes. They might come in handy someday. Read this! They say I prattle. I don't prattle. I offer my wisdom calmly and reasonably. They should have been grateful. Let's head into the catacombs beneath these ruins to sort through what we found, away from this rabble.
Better overstocked than under.
assistant. Let's take a better look at those documents. Let me see those papers we gathered. Ah, I see. The recollection found an altar but could go no farther. Sounds magical. There's mention of finding vials of blood, some sacred water, and a bottle of ancient wine. Yes, yes, those are our keys. It seems my former allies are not doing well without me. Petrification traps, locked doors, giant living statues, that peculiar altar. Typical novice stuff. Nothing that would challenge a master of his craft such as myself. Animated stonework. Doesn't surprise me. They don't require much upkeep. But this altar, alien design, so it will need some liquid to activate it. They have the keys but have no clue how to use them. We press on. The renowned Narcissus Dren is not deterred by mundane challenges. The hunt is on.
I knew something was off about the Dark Elf expert. Sneaky-looking cur.
We've lost so many to the traps. Had that fool warned us about them, Givens would have never been petrified.
Do you see that ahead? Is that one of the Recollection's own? Turned to stone? Isn't this nice, assistant? You get to walk through a ruin like this with none other than myself, Narcissus Dren, as your guide. What's on that stone table? I have my own theories as to why such ancient blood would be fresh. Alas, the Recollection had no interest in my musings.
Let's go.
Allow me to enlighten you, assistant. Keep an eye out for Daedric symbology. The aliens worship the Daedra and were destroyed by Daedra haters. You can take notes if you need to.
You good? Of course you are. see what you're made of.
Assistant, have I ever regaled you with my research on ancestral tombs in Vardenfell? It will only take a few hours. Another of our recollection friends. Please get on that crate too, I see, with your permanent results. A shame he isn't as skillful and dexterous as I. It could have been me mere moments ago. Thank the gods for my quick reflexes. Best be on our way. Keep an eye out for these grates, if you would, assistant. Where is it now? Here we are. The sacred water. Drawn from a spring in the very heart of an alien sanctuary, I don't doubt. Look at all this mess! Oh! The recollection has no regard for proper excavation
And down
procedures.
they go.
Else better my usual assistant would be shocked by such disarray. Did you know that Wendir means journey in alien? It could mean a journey into the afterlife or some other destination for the ancient elves. It's amazing what you can learn from me. Majestic! Oh, how I'd love to know how they carved these wings. Was it one sculptor? Two? More? It's so lifelike. There's our altar. Note the 3 bowls. We need to put all 3 items on the altar, then anoint it with the proper liquid. Come, let's make haste in finding all of them. Three of the loyal retainers. Stand back, assistant. I'll speak their names and command them. Lorimaro, Parhalia, Balipalin, Yonvarla, and, hang on. I don't know that last name. No, wait! There we are. Now to return to the altar. I'll go ahead and dust myself off a bit from the battle. Take the wine on your way out. We'll be needing that. The contents of this bottle. They've been partially used. They've been drinking on the job. A moment, assistant. Thanks to my dazzling intellect, I have deduced that we should anoint the altar with sacred water. Assistant, apply the sacred water. Simple. Sacred water goes on an altar. It's quite obvious. Any fool would see that. When you have been at this as long as I have, you develop a sixth sense for these things. Place all 3 items on the altar, but we will use the sacred water. Trust me. If you would place all 3 items that we collected onto the altar, we can proceed. And now, anoint the altar with the sacred water. With this, our way is opened. Excellent! Wait, nothing is happening. Is it broken? Do I have a broken altar? Surely the sacred water must be the solution. I'm sure of it. That didn't work. Assistant, try another offering. That did it! Just as I predicted. A tribute to the wine shared between the retainers upon their arrival. Good job following my instructions, assistant. I'll make an explorer of you yet. I'm going on ahead, onward to discovery. And here we are, the emblem. But it is sealed away by magic. Surely these tiles, pressed in correct sequence, will remove the warding spells on it. That carving looks important. It is some form of epitaph to the 5 loyal retainers. I'd venture it's crucial to releasing the emblem of the last king. But of course, you'd be a fool to think that a treasure hunter as respectable as myself would have no experience with a simple tile puzzle. Were I to put my vast expertise to use here, I'd venture that the solution to releasing that barrier lies in this epitaph. I could, but let's think of this as a teachable... Narcissus Dren is no stranger to a puzzle, but can his assistant exhibit the same prowess? Let's wait and see. Go on now, read that epitaph. Give it your all. I'll be here for the point at which you undoubtedly will need my consult. Allow me to advise. Read the epitaph very clearly. The wine we found earlier leads me to believe this place hosted a gathering of the 5 loyal retainers. A final... is now clear, and the emblem of the last king calls to me. Come, look at it. It's marvelous. Floating there, just waiting to be taken. Any final note? Now, assistant, we have found the emblem of the last king. Step aside, assistant. The great and wise Narcissus Dren will now seize the emblem. I intend to present it to my assistant Elfbeta at her southern camp. Yes. That sounds sufficiently thrilling. Fool of an assistant! Do not disturb me, or I'll have you demoted to a footnote in my next book. Ah, the emblem at last. I've bested those recollection fools. No! A trap! It's that petrification gas! Take the emblem to Elfbeta! I...
been on the lookout for that.
Ah, there you are. I was beginning to get worried. Delightful to see you remain in one piece. Some of my dear Narcissus collaborators do not survive the experience. Tell me, how did you fare? Excellent. I've arranged payment for your efforts. Did Narcissus come with you? I know. Probably still taking notes for his next dissertation, I expect. Should I go after him? Eventually, I suppose. He gets cross with me when I fuss about him too much. I need to take my leave shortly. Narcissus should turn up any time now. Perhaps I should go looking for him. In any event, thank you for your help. Is he not masterful? Wise, kind, and thoughtful, and so daring. This emblem that you've returned with is simply fascinating. I'll begin cataloging it while I wait for him to return. I understand. Sometimes he gets so involved I have to drag him away. Knowledge and research always come first for Narcissus. He's a rock-solid scholar. I need to take my leave shortly. Narcissus should turn up any time now. Perhaps I should go looking for him. In any event, thank you.
I carefully learned.
Forest worries me. Nothing natural ever grew that quickly.
It's those wood elves. Valenwood is trying to annex territory that is rightfully ours.
Maybe. But the wood elves of Vashabar claim their intentions are peaceful.
Welcome to my townhouse, friends. I can't wait to hear the results of your investigations. I can't believe we found a corrupted seed at Ostermere. That the recollection somehow caused the new forest to overgrow Westweald. Or that my friend Sorelin was involved. Laramil wants to talk to you, but I'd like to hear what else you discovered. An invasion launched from Rostwall Estate would have taken Skingrad completely by surprise. I'm glad that you and the Tribune were there to stop them. But the recollection working with Daedra? That's a troubling new development. By reputation, we only just met. I know she does troubleshooting for Count Calantius, so I figured I might run into her eventually. She apparently heard about me too. Just showed up on my doorstep. You learn anything else out there? Ethelia, the Daedric prince you and Laramil are looking for? You met her? Incredible! But why is the recollection looking for her? Didn't they... never mind. I think you should talk to Laramil now. I need to consider all this.
Our initial investigations are complete, Proxy. Let us speak. Encountering a material confirmation of... that is, I thought it would take longer for us to find and confront Ethelia in person. We determined that my suspicions about the Frayed Fates proved correct. Each location had a connection to Ethelia. That the recollection and the Miramor Daedra seek to restore Ethelia to power. They cause the New Forest and Wildburn devastation. And Ethelia wanders Westweald, starting to remember. For helping me reach these conclusions, take this reward. Speak with Baragon. See if he has a thought about our next steps. Ethelia's presence untethers all consequences. It makes it nearly impossible for me to perceive the threads of fate, let alone determine which threads to follow. Most people do not bear the responsibility of preserving reality itself. If we guess wrong about what we must do, or simply fail to do it, disaster ensues. I do not like to leave such decisions to chance when the stakes are so high. Trust in Baragon's knowledge of the recollection. There is an anomaly I wish to look into while you and he pursue the cultists and ferret out their plans. Perhaps the Wildburn seed you found in Ostermere is the place to start. I shall find you later.
I've been thinking about Ostermere and your investigations with Laramil and Tribune Alea. The recollection was involved each time. We need to determine what they're planning next. Maybe the Wildburn seed we found in Ostermere can help us do that. I'm not a green speaker or a spinner, but I know a corrupted seed when I see one. If we can trace it to its source, I think we can find the recollection. Luckily, there are experts on this sort of thing close by, in the wood elf town of Vashabar. Bosma, who honor the green, wouldn't have anything to do with a Wildburn seed. But I want to show the seed we recovered to a green speaker. If they can tell us more about it, it might lead us right to the recollection. Help me, and I'll pay your way. Here, just to be safe, you should carry the Wildburn seed. Green speaker...
Comrade, I have an urgent message for you. Guildmaster Sees All Colors would like to see you as soon as possible. She said the journal has revealed something about the Vivicis, whatever that is. She awaits you at the guild hall. You can find her in the hall in Eldenroot, comrade. May the Eight protect you. No idea. Word around the hall is that she's been working day and night on some mysterious project. I've even seen some Mages Guild scribes wandering around the place. Strange.
What exactly are you implying, Calovian?
I'm not implying. I'm saying it outright. This land wasn't yours to grow a forest over.
That's enough, Tribune.
Fine. You and the mercenary handle it.
Apologies, Greenspeaker. What can you tell us about the seed my friend is carrying?
A Calovian soldier can't just stroll into our town and throw around accusations. If not for Baragon, he may not be part of our settlement, but his good works are known to us. Well, what is it? What did you bring to show me? Does he? Well, let me take a look. This appears to be a green spring seed, but it's unlike any that I've ever worked with before. It's infused with strange energy. Green spring seeds are what green singers use to grow new sections of forest and shape them into enclosures and settlements. We use some to create Vashabar, but this one is corrupted. Still, something familiar. Wait, I've sensed this before. I was out exploring. Dawnwood may be a blessing, but I'm curious as to its origin. And the devastated area troubles me. I ran into wood elves with a covered cart. There was a whiff of strange magic about it. It must have been one of these seeds. Here, I'll mark your map. I met the Wood Elves with a covered car in the hills east of Leftwheel. If you find more of these corrupted seeds, burn them. And don't worry, I'll destroy the one you gave me after I finish examining it. The Tribune sees a threat in the eyes of every Bosmer, but she may not be wrong. I've heard rumors, secret gatherings. Elves, our new settlement consists of...
Now that she mentioned it, I've heard of Greenspring seeds. If the Recollection was able to corrupt the sacred seeds of the green with Daedric magic, that's unthinkable. Before we go look for that cart, we should talk to King Nantharian first. King Nantharian's an interesting person. Charismatic, a visionary. He saw an opportunity and rallied Wood Elves to follow him and start this settlement. As I understand it, he leans toward the Dawnway more than the Green. That his followers are in danger. While drawing Wood Elves away from the Green is next to impossible, Green speaker Sorrelin notwithstanding, the followers of the Dawnway.
Halt! King Nantharian sees no one without good cause.
We have good cause. We've come to warn him of a danger to Vashabar.
Very well. But the Legionary must remain here.
Fine. I'll wait here.
Thank you, Tribune. Come, friend.
Greetings, stranger. All are welcome in Vashabar. But tell me, who enters my humble abode with Baragon, the hero of Ninglinir Pass? And what was that about a danger to our unassuming town? The Recollection? Yes, we have heard of this new order, but it has nothing to do with Vashabar. Do you really expect to find such violent agitators in this peaceful hamlet? Greenspeaker Sorlin helped us settle Dawnwood and build our town, but I haven't seen her in weeks. I assumed she had done her part and returned to Valenwood. Not everyone is prepared to break away from the familiar and start anew. A wild burn seed? I've never heard of such a thing. But then again, I'm not a green speaker or a spinner. And what did Derelith make of this strange seed? I know she's been trying to determine how our Dawnwood came to be. Does she suspect a connection? That's not far from Hoperoot, our new settlement. Count Calantius has refused our offers of cooperation, so I cannot assist you directly. But if you learn anything more that you feel I should know, find me at Hoperoot. Hoperoot lies to the north of Vashabar, just before you enter the devastated region. I'll be there, supervising the establishment of our next settlement.
We'll meet you near Leftwheel, friend. If there's another seed there, we need to find it.
You were in there for a while? What did Nantharian have to say? The Count doesn't know Nantharian. He and his wood elves showed up right after the new forest appeared without so much as a by your leave. Is it any wonder the Count doesn't trust him? Did Nantharian say anything about the Recollection? Not involved. Of course he'd say that.
Useful. Hold on to that. Got your back. This one's mine. Good to get stocked up. you could brew something nice with that.
Tribune Alea, look out! Are you hurt?
I'll live. Thanks, Baragon. The Recollection ambushed us, like they knew we were coming.
I spotted the seed just up the hill. Friend, destroy the seed. We'll hold off the Recollection. Burn the seed? Good. One less threat to worry about.
They knew we were coming. Either the Green Speaker set us up, or there's a spy in Nantharian's court.
A spy? Then the king is in danger. Friend, let's talk. I assumed the Recollection would be guarding the Wildburn seed, but the Tribune is right. They were expecting us. If the Recollection does have a spy in Vashabar, then they're more dangerous than I thought. How else did they know to set this ambush? Greenspeaker Derelith wouldn't have betrayed us, so it must be someone close to King Nantharian. Which means Nantharian's got a knife to his throat and he doesn't know it. We've got to tell him. We'll need to be careful. If our suspicions are on the mark, someone won't want us to talk to the king. Hoperoot lies near the ruins of Nunangalo, across the Wildburn. Let's meet outside the new settlement and see how things... We'll see you at Hoperoot, friend.
little ones, whisper to me the secrets of the green. Greetings, wanderer. Do you hear the wisps? I do. They bear fortunes and portents of things to come. If you cannot hear them, I'd be happy to share what they say about you. Of course. Wisps are gifts from Ifray to signal times of change. I can ask my wisps what exactly that change will be. Oh, no, that's unpleasant. My wisps see a storm, a battle, and darkness. Bad tidings all around. Step carefully, friend.
Better overstocked than under. No such thing as a wasted day, so long as we go fishing. Now that's the type of catch worth bragging about. You could craft something nice with that. always nice to get stocked up. Good eye. Give him a fight. Building up a stash. Good thinking. People say fish smell bad. I say anything smells bad if you leave it out long enough.
sort of things that just